Did you ever spend time with the guy? Did you ever meet Diddy?
I've met him before, yeah.
How was he?
Very nice guy, very smart, super business. You know, I mean, he's very successful.
He said, nobody that I deal with, nobody that I know is going to do anything with y'all. No business at all.
Gene Deal's last public appearance wasn't just intense. It was nuclear. A bold, no-holds-barred truth dump aimed straight at Diddy's empire, delivered with a kind of calm fury that made people stop and listen. 1 minute. Gene was sitting on camera laying out names, timelines, and dark secrets with sniper-level precision. The next? Vanished. No calls, no messages, not even a damn Instagram story. Just gone. According to his family, they watched it unfold like a nightmare in real time. Eyes frozen, watching as men, who they swear were tied to Diddy, rolled up, snatched Gene off the street, and tossed him into a blacked-out SUV like it was a damn scene from a mob movie. No words. No.
When she put out those pictures of the dude pulling his pants down, and it looked like some gay act that was going on, he got on the phone. He said, let me tell you this.
No warrants. No hesitation. Just 4 doors slammed shut, tires screeching, and silence. Since that moment, not one soul has laid eyes on Gene Deal. And let's not play dumb. This wasn't subtle. This wasn't random. This was a statement. A move designed to shake anyone else thinking of speaking up. Because Gene wasn't just spilling tea. He was pouring gasoline on Diddy's carefully built legacy and lighting a match. He exposed names. He connected dots. And he made it clear that if something happened to him, the people already knew where to look. The pressure had been boiling for months. Gene wasn't some bitter ex-bodyguard chasing clout. This man had files. He'd been in the hotel suites, in the locked-door meetings, standing right next to Diddy during the very years the feds are now calling a criminal network. He knew the game inside out. And in that final sit-down, Gene didn't hold anything back. He didn't whisper. He roared. He aired out Diddy's darkest skeletons like he was doing spring cleaning on Hell's Closet. Things the industry hinted at in backrooms, Gene said on record. He called out Stevie J's fake gangster act. He said Diddy was warned that...
I don't know this, but it just seems very suspicious when you go through and you look at in the history of different people that can make you go away if you know. Listen, I've worried about some of the things that I talk about on my show.
The night Biggie was gunned down. Dates, details, fury, it was all there. But the moment the cameras shut off, the vibe shifted. That's when the shadows started moving. That's when the threats came in hot. Sources close to Gene say the call started almost immediately. Private numbers, cold voices, orders to delete everything. One message reportedly said, "Take it back, or take what's coming." And Gene never flinched, not in public. But behind closed doors, he knew the cost.
Look at Diddy, for instance. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at him. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at. He has videos. He has videos of the parties. Now, what I've heard, which I don't know how much of it is in mainstream media, I don't really follow the story that much. But what I've heard from friends that are attorneys, friends of mine that have represented me before, agents and so on, is there's a bidding war going on right now.
One friend, who wouldn't go on record, claimed Gene said, "They're not going to let me keep talking." He knew the clock was ticking. His circle begged him to fall back. But Gene wasn't built like that. He wasn't about to duck and disappear. He believed silence had lasted too long, that the truth had to come out, no matter the risk. And now, just like that, he's gone. No trace. No closure. Just fear, questions, and a message left ringing loud for anyone else thinking of speaking up. It didn't take long before the conspiracy theories started spinning, fast, wild, and chilling. But one name kept surfacing, whispered in DMs, mumbled in late-night group chats. A name that sounds like it came straight out of a spy movie, but in Diddy's world, it's a straight-up nightmare. They call it the cleanup group. And if you know, you know. The deeper you look, the darker it gets. This ain't PR flacks or slick-talking lawyers. Nah. According to industry insiders, the cleanup group is a real damage control team. The kind you don't see. Their job?
When we got back to New York City, Wendy Williams was in Philly at a new station.
Eliminate threats. Tie up loose ends. Shut mouths, permanently, if necessary. Scrub reputation so clean you forget there was ever dirt. We're talking silencing witnesses, intimidating families, and turning scandals into whispers. They don't play defense. They play erasure. And if even half of the rumors are real, then Gene Deal wasn't just collateral. He was priority one. After that final interview, he wasn't just telling stories. He was cracking open a vault. And when that vault started leaking, the cleanup group may have been called in to seal it shut, permanently. Because when billion-dollar legacies are on the line, silence becomes a business strategy. The rumors? They're almost too precise. Like someone's been keeping receipts in the shadows. One former road manager even told a podcast that when things got messy, Diddy never lifted a finger. Someone else always did the dirty work. Ghost operatives. People with no paper trail. No contracts. No connections. Just a job to do. And once it was done, vanished like they were never there. And when you start matching those whispers with the names of people who've gone quiet after speaking out, the pattern gets real loud. Take victim number 3, a key witness in Diddy's federal case. She was prepped, ready to testify under her real name about being forced into those twisted freak-off parties. But right before she could take the stand, poof, vanished. No phone, no contact. Even the prosecution can't find her. If that don't sound like a blueprint, I don't know what does. This isn't just one guy going missing. This smells like a system designed to erase threats with surgical accuracy. A web of fear, of silence, of whispers behind locked doors. And if even a sliver of these claims are real, this machine's been operating unbothered for decades. But here's the wildest part. The feds say they've finally seen enough to keep Diddy locked down. But is he really out of the game? Some say hell no. A new court filing straight up accuses him of controlling witnesses from inside using burner calls, third parties, and other inmates' accounts. This ain't just a rumor anymore. It's in federal paperwork. This isn't influence. This is infrastructure. And if Diddy's still pulling strings from behind bars, the game might not be over. It might just be getting started. And Gene? He may have been the last man alive willing to lay it all bare. The only one ready to connect the dots, to say out loud that Biggie's death wasn't just a random ambush, but something deeper, darker, calculated. He called out names. Stevie J. Mays, the Crips, and hinted at what was known, and never said, the night Biggie was taken out in L.A. In his final interview, Gene challenged Stevie directly, calling out the little nephew who had suddenly become a self-proclaimed gangster. I don't know when he became a gangster, Gene said, accusing Stevie of rewriting history of ego or substances. It's the substances, bro, he added with a deadpan chill. The whole thing felt like controlled burn, precise, deliberate, and now the smoke is choking the entire industry. Gene's takedown of Diddy wasn't just personal. It was prophetic. Looking back, it felt like a final act, a swan song wrapped in warnings. Because Gene didn't just say too much, he knew too much. And that made him dangerous to the very people now watching their empires crumble. Diddy's not just facing lawsuits anymore. He's staring down charges that could bury him, racketeering, trafficking, coercion, federal time. And it's not just reputations on the line now. It's real prison bars and real forfeitures. The kind of fallout where everyone starts flipping to save themselves. We've got court docs reading like crime thrillers. And let's not forget the bombshell that just won't die. Diddy allegedly linked to the Shakur case again. This time through sworn testimony from Keith D., who claimed Diddy said, in front of witnesses, I'll give anything for that dude's head. That quote isn't blog fodder. It's sitting in a 180-page police transcript. Whether that was bravado or bribery, it won't go quiet. Just like Gene. And now here we are. The world's watching. Gene's family is begging for answers. And the man who spent years warning us about what was coming is just gone. No pings. No photos. No trace. And the timing? Way too perfect. We've got a mogul on trial, a federal case heating up, and a key whistleblower disappearing in a puff of smoke. That's not coincidence. That's a chess move. A strategy. But if they thought silencing Gene would bury the story, they miscalculated. His silence is louder than ever. His name is everywhere. And the pressure is boiling over. Now more people are asking the real questions. Who's protecting Diddy? Who's taking his calls behind those prison walls? And how many more insiders are going to vanish before someone finally blows a whistle loud enough that it can't be ignored? Because the deeper you go, the more this feels like a blueprint. Charisma by day, coercion by night. The court headlines only show the surface, but the real drama is unfolding in shadows, where whispers become threats, where men like Gene get taken for rides they never return from. Think about how many people came through Diddy's orbit, how many might have seen too much, how many just disappeared, and how he got away with it for this long. Gene's silence isn't just suspicious anymore, it's suffocating. This isn't some back-alley conspiracy blog. His name is floating through courtrooms, newsrooms, federal offices. His vanishing act isn't fiction. It's now part of a growing file, one that links back to a trail of bodies, threats, and missing witnesses. And remember this, it wasn't just Gene. Just days before, prosecutors admitted they also lost contact with Victim 3, a central figure in the trafficking case. She was supposed to take the stand. Now she's gone. 2. She was ready to blow the case wide open. Victim 3 had allegedly agreed to drop the alias, stand tall under her real name, and tell it all raw, explosive, personal. But right before she could step foot in court, she vanished. Not just her lawyer, too. Phones off, offices shuttered. No press release, no withdrawal statement, just eerie silence. And the prosecution? Shrugged, like we're not talking about a federal witness, like she was background noise. But she wasn't. She was the courtroom nuke, and now she's gone. Let's talk about the filth surfacing in the early days of this trial. This is P. Diddy, Puffy, Brother Love, and shocker, he's looking like a whole creep. Surprise, surprise, the man behind the music might have been orchestrating horrors behind scenes. These aren't Twitter rumors anymore. These are federal allegations. And even from behind bars, Diddy is accused of manipulating the system. The judge himself confirmed he allegedly used other inmates' phone access codes to make three-way calls and influence witnesses. That's not gossip. That's on the record. So let's connect some dots. A witness disappears. Diddy's caught using third-party calls. His defense team is moving like a chessboard with unlimited queens. And we're supposed to believe it's all coincidence? Please. This trial is starting to feel more like a thriller than a courtroom drama. And the guest list? Unhinged. Mike Myers, yes, Austin Powers, is allegedly on the witness list. What does he know? And then you've got the no-name women who are about to need every ounce of courage to step into that courtroom, if they even make it. What if this isn't about fear? What if this is calculated silencing? A pattern dressed up as bad luck? Because this ain't just about Gene and Victim 3. Insiders say this has been the game for decades. One entertainment lawyer, off record, said flat out, nobody sues them unless their go bag's packed. And it tracks. Over the years, accusers fall silent right before depositions. Socials wiped. Settlements sealed. Even Cassie, and she had ironclad receipts, still got paid off in warp speed before more could leak. That's not accident. That's machinery. So if that's what we're seeing in public, imagine what's happening behind the scenes. Because what prosecutors are looking at is bigger than one man. They saw patterns. They zoomed in on racketeering charges. But even then, the jury split. 6 jurors couldn't connect the final dot. That's where Gene Deal's name reemerges like a ghost. Word in the documentary scene says he wasn't just talking, he was archiving. A personal vault of tapes. Audio, video, coded language, celebrities, freak-off terminology, possibly even the payout trail to stay out the frame. And here's the nuclear piece. Multiple sources claim there's one final unreleased tape. And it's not just spicy, it's evidence. One producer said straight up that recording could turn Diddy's defense into ashes. And guess what? The word on the street is federal agents may already have it. So ask yourself, if that tape exists and it's real, why hasn't it surfaced? Is it locked away as sealed evidence? Oh, and this is the scary part. Is someone pulling strings to bury it forever? We've seen this story before. Hidden recordings, sealed depositions, and silence. Because remember, Diddy isn't just a music mogul. His media, his politics, his connected. The web doesn't end with him. It stretches across industries, powerful people with powerful secrets. And if Gene's last act was capturing the blueprint, then his disappearance makes tragic, terrifying sense. Because the centerpiece of this case, what ties it all together, is those freak-offs. The prosecution's whole argument hinges on coercion. But critics say they haven't closed the loop. It's a feeling, a horror, but maybe not yet a conviction, at least not without that final tape. Meanwhile, the court grinds on. Jury selection finishes. Cameras barred. Diddy's legal dream team moves like a fortress. He's got names like Tenny Garagos, guys who eat federal charges for breakfast. And through it all, Diddy? Silent, but calculated, like he's waiting for the next piece to fall. Gene Deal's ghost is haunting this courtroom, and that last tape might be the thing that brings it all crashing down. Even the defense looks rattled now. The witness list is folding in real time. The trial may be crawling along in public, but behind the scenes, it's moving at lightning speed. Documents sealed, testimonies withdrawn, witnesses warned or vanished. Every time a name slips into the headlines, it disappears just as fast. What are we not being shown? Because the trauma of speaking out against Diddy is its own quiet war, and it's left a trail of broken voices in its wake. Former bodyguards, assistants, artists, all tried to talk, all face the same fate. Smear campaigns, online threats, lawsuits, silent disappearances. The message was always the same: open your mouth, and you'll pay. Some recanted, others went ghost. A few, like Bad Boy's own Mark Curry, described the spiritual breakdown, the emotional chokehold. This wasn't loyalty. It was fear wrapped in contracts. And that fear didn't end when the cameras did. It lingered, like a warning. Sean Diddy Combs' own lawyers described him as a dishonest, violent, sexually chaotic man. Their words, not ours. One ex-driver, who once talked under an alias, said the paranoia wrecked him so bad he couldn't leave the house. Another ex-consultant received voicemails listing his wife's job address and his daughter's school schedule. Nothing was ever traced back, but the timing? Terrifying. This wasn't clout chasing. This was targeted silence. And if that cleanup crew is real, this wasn't paranoia. This was protocol. Gene's disappearance isn't a standalone. It fits a larger pattern. Whistleblowers often report being iced out completely. Calls ignored. Connections dropped. Bank accounts frozen. That's a real erasure when your very name stops opening doors. In Diddy's world, silence isn't just demanded, it's enforced. And isolation, that's the punishment. For those brave enough to speak, that alienation becomes proof. Proof that the machine is bigger than anyone imagined, and it doesn't forget. Even courtroom dynamics feel off. The racketeering charges include everything: the threats, the freak-offs, the manipulation. But we still don't know what the jury's thinking. That's what makes Gene's absence feel so surgical. He wasn't a footnote. He was a bridge between eras. Biggie's last night, the East Coast-West Coast war, the whispers that Diddy offered millions to make Pac disappear. Those claims are old, but now they're resurfacing under oath inside police interviews. This time, they're documented. In a recorded statement, Keith D., now indicted for Tupac's murder, said Diddy told him, "I'll give anything for that dude's head." Whether it was bluster or bounty, that line is chilling, especially now, because Diddy's empire is crumbling and Gene's ghost is suddenly everywhere. This isn't about hip-hop beef anymore. It's about power and what it does to protect itself. What we thought were old rumors are looking more like suppressed facts, and the truth is clawing its way out of the vault. This trial isn't about music. It's about machinery, a system that served fame, wealth, and protection on a silver platter to the connected, while silencing everyone else. For years, people turned a blind eye to the red flags hiding behind Grammy stages and Malibu mansions. But now, the lawsuits are stacking, witnesses are disappearing, and the fear, somehow, feels louder than ever. Maybe that's why Gene's silence says more than words ever could. Because even without speaking, his screaming, all those puffy party guests, the ones who thought the freak-offs were behind closed doors forever, they're suddenly panicking. The ones who went fluid with morality, chasing fame over humanity, now they're exposed. And maybe that's what hurts the most, realizing you were a pawn in someone else's game. Used, pimped, ghosted. So now we're left with a vanishing bodyguard, a missing witness, and a court system circling around a billion-dollar brand built on intimidation and illusion. And the final twist? Somewhere out there, allegedly, is Gene's last tape. Maybe hidden, maybe seized, maybe already in the Fed's hands. We don't know, but insiders say it's real. A recording that connects everything. Names, code words, receipts. If it drops, the fallout could be apocalyptic. If it doesn't, maybe it already served its purpose. Maybe it was a final alarm bell Gene could ring before they cut the wires. So now ask yourself, if he could vanish while cameras were still rolling, what happens to the rest of us? What happens to the next whistleblower? Who's really protecting the truth? And who's next? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is justice finally knocking, or is the system just shutting the door all over again? Stay woke, stay loud, stay watching, because silence isn't just dangerous anymore, it's deadly.